Hi, this is Gary with MacMOST.com. Let's talk about the MacBook's camera notch and how you could force the menu bar to appear below it. MacMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to MacMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, if you have a recent MacBook, you know you've got a camera notch at the top. So normally when you see the menu bar, it's divided into a left side and a right side with the camera notch in the middle. Now in most cases this works out nicely. For instance, here I am in the Notes app on my MacBook Air and I could see the menu bar items on the left and then the other menu bar buttons on the right. The camera notch being in the middle doesn't get in the way. Even pretty big apps like the Mail app here can usually fit all the menu bar items on one side like this. But occasionally you're going to run into very complex apps like Numbers here that has so many items in the menu bar that the menus are on the left and they spill over onto the right and actually take away some of the room for the buttons on the right. There's actually nothing under the camera notch right now. It's just pushing the menu bar items to the other side of it. So a request I hear often is how can I get the menu bar to not do that? To maybe just push the entire menu bar down and have the menu bar go across like you don't have a camera notch. After all, you could say that today's MacBooks have a camera notch, but you could also say that previous MacBooks actually had a notch as well. It just went all the way across the screen and had a much wider space at the top to accommodate the camera. Today's screens actually have part of the screen to the left and right of the camera, allowing you to use more of the space in the top part of your MacBook. So you've actually gained some space, not lost it with the camera notch. But it would be nice to sometimes be able to have the menu bar look as it did before. And you can in specific situations. I'm going to quit Numbers right now and I'm going to go in the Finder and create a new Finder window that's looking at the Applications folder. And here we're going to see a list of all my applications. Now, when I select an app like Numbers and I get info on it, I'm going to use File, Get Info, but Command I is usually what we use for this. You're going to see a checkbox, Scale to fit below built-in camera. And you can check that. And now it's going to push the menu bar below the camera notch, but it's not going to do it in regular windowed mode. It's going to do it in full screen mode. So with this selected, I'm going to launch Numbers again. And now notice I don't see any difference. However, if I click the green button here or hover over it and enter full screen or use any other method to go to full screen mode, notice that the menu bar goes away. Now if I move my pointer to the top, the menu bar will actually come down below the notch. So I've got a black bar that I don't really see going across the entire top of the screen and the menu bar is below it. Now this is different than if I had this turned off. I have it turned off and then I go to Numbers and I move my pointer to the top. Notice that the menu bar now fills the space at the top and there's a notch there. You don't actually even see it here because the menu bar is black in this case. But the notch is actually there and it's pushing the View, Window, and Help menus to the right. If I go into System Settings and then go to Control Center, at the bottom I've got the ability to change it so that the menu bar is never hidden. So I'll select Never there. So now you can see this is how it looks if I've got that special feature unchecked. And then if I check it, I note that I have to quit Numbers and then launch it again for this to take effect. But you see now in full screen mode here, it's pushed down the menu bar and that allows it to be able to go all the way across because the notch is actually above this. I can't even move the pointer above this. It's actually removed that space from the screen's real estate completely. So whether or not you want to use this is up to you. Some people really like to be able to eliminate the notch in cases like this, even though it means losing some screen at the top. And other people like me don't care about the notch. I would rather have the menu bar use that space there. Now Apple actually has a page that goes into detail about this special feature. So you can read more about how it works if you want. And it seems like it should work for some apps that don't actually have the menu bar. So perhaps some games, it would force the game to actually appear below the notch. Now in all the games I tried, the games already appeared below the notch, whether or not this checkbox was on or off. So I think it comes down to the developer. The developer can actually force the game to never appear underneath the notch, which is probably the proper way to do it. But if the developer hasn't done that, like say it's a much older app, then you can force it with a checkbox. Now what about if you want to force the menu bar below the notch in regular windowed mode? There doesn't seem to be a way to do that, but you can kind of do it by changing your display settings. So if you go to System Settings and then you go to Displays, you've got these different options here. Now any of the default options are going to use the notch. But if you control click on any of these options, you can choose Show List. And then once you have Show List, you can choose Show All Resolutions. And some of these resolutions are slightly different screen ratios than what you've got. So if you choose something that's slightly wider, then of course you're going to have black bars at the top and bottom. Just like if you're watching a widescreen movie on a TV, it would give you black bars at the top and bottom. That of course means that the notch at the top wouldn't come into play. So instead of 1280 by 832, I'm going to switch to 1280 by 800 here. And you can see what it does is it forces the window down so I don't actually have any part of the screen where the notch is. So you can play with these different resolution settings, noting that not only you're getting rid of pixels at the top of the screen, but also at the bottom of the screen. But some people may prefer it that way anyway, so I thought I'd mention this option. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.